There's no ceiling when you are near me. Worth the waiting, baby, believe me. A chance of you is worth taking. There's no limit when you are near me. Sending you my love and all my good vibes. Sending all I got. So tell me you feeling all my love and how it feels right. Sending you my love. So tell me you got it. Tell me you got it. Tell me you got it. We got distance, but the same moonlight. You're here with me, always on my mind. A thought of you is a good thought. We got distance, see the same sunrise. Sending you my love and all my good vibes. Sending all I got. So tell me you feeling all my love and how it feels right. Sending you my love. So tell me you got it. Tell me you got it. Sending you my love and all my good vibes. Sending all I got. So tell me you feeling all my love and how it feels right. Sending you my love, my love, my love, my love.
To see you're the honest I'll ever be. I'm so sorry I never stayed. Overreact and just walk away. Take me back to the place I know. I have the power to let things go. I'm so lost I can't see the shore. You know what that means, we've been here before. Just can't agree on what I should do when I don't feel free. You're not holding me back, I know. We're young and we never take things slow. I lose my self-restraint. I think we're done and you have no face. I calm down and watch it grind. And then
lights are out, you stumble in the dark. You kept pushing on, but then you went too far. When your ship has sailed and all your dreams are lost, everything is wrong, you feel like it's your fault. Just remember, I will be there for you, baby. Remember, there's nothing out there to get you, don't forget it. When life throws lemons, just call on me. Just call on me. Just call on me.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari circuit, also known as Imola, for round 2 of our Permobil Endurance Series. Tonight's action is bringing you the top 10 shootout with the 10 fastest qualifying teams battling it out to set the front rows of tomorrow's grid. My name is David Bender McNulty, and I'll be your host tonight, bringing you all the live action. I'm also delighted to announce that the amazing team over at Permobil have signed on for the rest of our series, for the Endurance Series, and we cannot wait to build upon the relationships we've had with them so far and bring the benefits to all sim racers. Once again, Natalie McGlowan will be joining us in the commentary booth tomorrow during the final stages of the race and conducting some post-race interviews, while Arta Ledzicki will be joining our amazing broadcast team alongside our OR commentators and bringing you all the live action during the 10-hour event. With that said, let's get stuck into tonight's action. We all witnessed the amazing shootout at Bathurst and how it came down to the final corner, and it was decided by hundredths of a second. Hopefully tonight we can have a repeat of that event. Joining me in the commentary booth tonight, I'm joined by Mike Crick and Tim Lawson. Gentlemen, how are we?
Doing well, how are you?
Fantastic. Great to be here for the shootout.
Yeah, the shootouts are always exciting time. I don't know if you guys have commented on them or commentated on them before. I've had the fortune of doing several now, and they never fail to disappoint.
Yeah, I was here for our last shootout when we did Bathurst, and yeah, it's always really good to see all these ultimately the fastest drivers on the grid going at it and seeing who can deliver on the occasion.
And the poll has been out for the winning car this evening, and so far the BMW, but that would mainly be because of Philip Bequita, would be my guess.
Yeah, I've actually gone for the Aston Martin. I'm picking Daffer for this. Fastest overall time in qualifying, only just a little bit quicker than Bequita, but I think it might be an Aston on pole this time.
Well, the Aston do make up 60% of the cars. There are 6 Astons on the grid, 1 Mercedes, 1 Honda, and 2 BMWs, making up our top 10 for this night's shootout.
Yeah, great to see the Honda in there, just sneaking into that top 10, the only Honda on the grid, and it's really good to see just that little bit of variety up there.
And of course, we cannot have our wonderful broadcast events without saying hello to those of you in chat. You are the real MVPs. We love the engagement. Hope you're all having a great night. Many people saying hello already. Make sure you do vote in the poll. We would love to hear your thoughts and predictions of who's going to get pole position tonight. Right now on track though, we are seeing a beautiful formation lap so we can admire the wonderful liveries of these cars. Something that is one of my favourite pastimes during the endurance events, just seeing the love and dedication that goes into the liveries. I think it really is a great spectacle.
Yeah, I mean, I've got a bit of a bias being that I do design a few liveries, but yeah, it's great seeing them all out there. And it makes it easier to identify the cars as well and keep track of who's who. So, I mean, except for those AVR cars, they all look the same this time because they're all in Astons this time. So it's going to be really hard to pick them apart. But I'm sure they'll all be at the front anyway, so it shouldn't be too difficult.
The challenge this evening is there are 2 hot laps, 1 out lap and 2 hot laps. And keeping the car within the track limits when you're pushing to the limit is going to be the challenge for these drivers.
We know track limits can be a bit of an issue here, particularly as we used to see the cars coming through sector 3 there, the chicane, and the curb hopping can be a little bit tricky at times, particularly if you are trying to extract an extra 10th or 2 on that second push lap.
Yes, I think we've got turn 9 through Purtella, also coming out of Minerali through 12, running wide. There is a risk, and as you said, the chicane through the Alto is always a challenge as well.
Who's your pick this evening, Bender? Who are you picking to take out the top spot?
Oh man, it's hard to go past Bequita, but we'll have to wait and see. I mean, the Aston or the Astons rather, all look very fast. Another team that is very fast is Cars 600, driven by Alexis Bowen, very fast in the MRT Racing crew. Do like these liveries. They're nicely done. Of course, if you are just tuning in for the first time, the MRT team cars, milk racing teams, they're all different flavours of milk or beverages, if you like. There you see the pop-up on screen there, Alexis making it into the shootout in 10th position. What a handy time, a 140 point, I think was it 0.6 or 0.9, I didn't see there.
0.912,
0.9?
yeah, and that's the driver's individual times as well, so that's not the team average, that's the fastest time set by the particular driver that you'll see on the graphic there. So that sort of shows an idea of each driver's individual pace. So pretty much everyone in the 140s here tonight. So, I mean, do we see a 39?
Well, that's going to be my question. It certainly would be great viewing if we do. Just depends on who can hook the lap up at the right moment.
Very good track conditions as Alexis begins what will be the first flying lap. Make sure we get this exit here right. Picked it up well there. So on to the main straight now. Just have to see how they take the rest of the lap.
Shout out to John Sneckers there for the donation, much appreciated.
Bad turn 1 and turn 2 there, a little bit wide on the exit turn 1, but still managed to get through okay. It does have another lap after this, so potentially just setting a nice clean bank in here and go for a full one on the next lap. We will give the splits and timings for the second lap, just because ACC is a little funny with before you've set a flying lap, it doesn't quite give you an accurate delta.
What do we think tyre warm-up's like around here? Do you think the first lap will be still good enough, or do we think it really will come down to the second lap?
Banking on the second lap.
Yeah, definitely the second lap, I think, as you sort of go a little bit wide there, enough on Raleigh, but yeah, another lap to go through. This will just be a nice clean banker with no track cuts, just to make sure they've got a time on the board, because like you were saying before, it is, you know, more so I think than a Bathurst. It's a Bathurst you're worried about hitting the walls. At Imola you're much more concerned about just those tiny little track cuts and the chicanes in the areas we mentioned before. That will make it pace. So we'll see how she comes into the main straight here. Good exit there, so it's a good fly, but we'll see what kind of time they've done for this first lap out.
Say it was valid as nothing's popped up, but it looked like it was 142, so I think Alexis just ran a little bit deep, perhaps in the middle sector there. At least we get the splits this lap around.
Much tidier lap so far. Around the chicane, lots of time to gain here. Good apex there. Doing well out of that exit.
At that time, just gaining. Great exit there, coming up the hill. Nice full second up now. Oh, wow, she manages to hold it in fourth before downshifting twice for the second part of the apex there. That's brave. Really attacking the curves there. 1.7 seconds up. This is going to be a mid 1 minute 40, I reckon.
Yeah, looking good, looking very nice and clean.
Still finding time in the last quarter. Wow, up 2 seconds on a previous lap. This is going to be a low 1 minute 40. This is going to be a great benchmark to set for everyone else for the rest of the shootout. Across the line. No, it's the 141. Okay, maybe the Delta was playing tricks on us.
Yeah, just that Delta being a bit funny once you don't have a valid lap, unfortunately. Still a very respectable time there, and like as we were saying, you know, the potential to have those minor little track cuts is always there. As we look now at car number 84 with Christopher Larson, Sausage Curve Racing, best time of a 140.415, so quite a rapid lap in qualifying. So let's see if they can improve on that.
Chris has already won my favourite livery. Anything with a Castrol livery is amazing. Nicely done through the first chicane, first couple of corners there, taking a bit of curve but not too much. Down to first. Okay, there we go. I don't know how many cars, I'm not that familiar with the Honda, but I'm not sure if many cars will be using first gear around there. Just about keeps it in bounds.
Yeah, really using every little inch of track here, Chris. Really trying to hook it up here, not being ultimately too conservative here on this opening lap. So interesting to see just what kind of time we get here as a benchmark.
Last couple of corners now, just need to clip that inside curve. That's nicely done. Soon can you get the power down? Pretty soon, Chris. That's good.
Still an invalid lap there, so we're not going to have an accurate delta this time too. So we're going to have to use our minds and try and guess how this next lap's going to go. So both drivers so far not setting their good banker lap and having to rely on their second lap to really get the pace out of it.
If you like the pressure, I mean, there's always, in previous shootouts when we've only had one hot lap, and a couple of drivers that have invalidated their lap and missed out. Through the second lap helps fix that.
And maybe the driver's just a little bit nervous, not taking time to get heat into tyres on their outlap, and maybe just struggling on their first lap.
Just a shorter track as well than what we were looking at the last time with Bathurst, so perhaps it just takes that little extra lap and not really being confident to set a banker lap at all, and just putting all that pressure on that second lap. It's still strong here, doesn't look like we've got any invalidations so far. Time is still green. We'll go through the chicane now. How much of this is we going to take? Honda's pretty handy over the curbs. Yep, nicely done there. A little correction, but holding the car together.
That was very close on the exit there to invalidating, I reckon.
Better exit this time. Straight line pace. Popping this as a 41 still, I don't think this maybe it's quite a 40 yet. Watching the timer go down here, it's just a 40. 41 flat, 41.037. So enough to top the leaderboard so far, but still not quite that 140.
Up next we got Tim Brook from 05 Motorsport. Fastest time of 1 minute 40.865. Come around, start his first flying lap. A couple of laps in the 1 minute 41s, you'd be liking your chances at this stage, I think. You're still in the pit lane.
we've got good track conditions here today, so shouldn't be much holding the drivers back. We'll see how the Astons fare. They are my top pick. I think the Astons are the strong car here, but you count out those BMWs.
A little loose on the exit of Villeneuve there.
That's why the Piratella is such a great corner. You just chuck it in and hope it sticks.
It wasn't too wide. It did look a little almost outside of the track limits there. We'll have to wait and see. I think it's still okay.
Yeah, lost a little time through Minarelli there though. Got a little bit deep and had to pull out.
Delta's still green, so this is still a valid lap. So we will get a banker out of this, providing the next couple of corners are okay.
Little correction on the exit there for Tim. Cost him a little bit of time down the straight. Comes across the line is at 141.7. So good enough for third so far, but this will be the lap we want to watch. Oh, that's nice through there. Through Tamburello. That was a good run. Down 2/10.
Yeah, looking much cleaner this lap. There's a good chance for at least a good full second across the top through sector 2 and 3.
Lost a little bit there out of the hairpin.
Yeah, he's just lost a little bit of time, but I mean he's still up by 3.5 tenths, but he's almost not. Yeah, 6 tenths.
Much better through Upper Minerale though. That was definitely what we saw a loss of time, as Tim mentioned on the previous lap. So gained a fair bit there. Definitely potential to crack those 140s.
He's on pace, Tim. He just needs to get it through Ravazza. Finds another 10th as well.
Quite as good though, still having a little bit of trouble there, losing a couple of hundreds here, but it's still going to be a very solid lap. I think this is going to be right up to the top. That's it, 140.7, so really strong time there from Tim.
New personal best too. His fastest lap in qualifying was a 140.8. So there you go. Always good to do a PB in the shootout.
Versus the AVR cars with Pat Oliver, the 141.122 was their fastest time. So we'll see how much they can improve on that for this lap.
Look at how smooth the Aston is over the curbs. Through Tamburello, very nice.
It's almost offensively effortless, isn't it? A bit too wide there on that exit. That might be invalid, but even if it isn't, it's not going to be a particularly strong climb. Just getting those tyres on the dirt there, it's going to cost you a few tenths.
I think we're seeing a bit of a trend with the Aston Martins here. They seem to be a little bit understeery on their outlap.
Yeah, I think you're onto something there. They might just need that extra lap to get those tyres nice and warm. Yeah, Aston being a fairly understeery car to begin with and having that big turbo that takes a little while to spool up, it can be hard to get yourself out of trouble. And yes, thank you for the correction, Jesse. I didn't mean to say sand previously.
Oh, that's wide. That's
Well wide.
going to do it for this lap.
Alright, so we're going to have to play the guessing game again for the next lap to see what the delta's like, as this one won't be a valid lap, but got one more pat, so we can put a nice one together here.
Right, Pat just likes inviting the pressure on himself, you know. Pressure creates diamonds, one lap.
That's it, it comes down to this. Too narrow going out of the chicane there, but still holding on to it very tidy. Like we said, the Aston holding very well over those curves, taking a lot of them. Still going just a little bit wide on that exit. Too deep into the hairpin as well, unfortunately, so a bit of a rough one so far from Pat.
Yeah, that one's expensive.
From man himself, Mulling in chat. They've only had 1 out of 4 valid first laps in the shootout so far.
A little deep end, unfortunately invalidating there as well, so won't be able to set a time. Unfortunately for Pat, just went too deep there on Aqua Minerale. He's going to complete the lap though. He's going to see what kind of time he gets, but yeah, just out. Big effort. Everybody in chat for Pat there, just a little bit wide there.
Yeah, some of the comments in the chat are they would prefer that Tosser was a little bit wider. It was obviously a bit of an issue for some of the other drivers coming into the race. But it just shows you how tight that these track limits are. It doesn't take much of a curb to blow your lap.
Head on to the next car now with Jean-Pierre Senecas. 1:44.95, so very solid time, and we've got to expect quite a bit from Senecas. So expecting pretty good performance here.
Brother John in chat, tune him on, and I'm sure other friends as well. Let's see what JP can get done.
I'm sure he's got all of the lovely Kovacs boys in his ear right now, telling him what an amazing job he's doing. Very supportive bunch of teammates there. I've heard all of Kovacs commentary. It's always very clean and supportive. Doing well here though. Nice exit from the hairpin there and got that in. Beautiful.
Yeah, that looked very smooth.
Taking just enough of those sausages there. Let's see how the Aqua Minerale shapes up. Good exit.
Oh, really throwing it across the curves there. Just keeps it in bounds.
Yeah, absolutely yeeting those curbs, showing us exactly why the Aston is such a strong contender at this particular track. It hasn't been validated this lap, so this should be a good one. So interesting to see how much it can improve on the second lap. Solid exit onto the straight, look at good speed out of that. You don't want to bog the Aston down there.
Only a 41.12 as the outlap. Not the third fastest for now. It looks a bit quicker than that. Quite smooth, but it's alright. JP's got a valid lap on the board. Second driver to have a valid first lap.
Gaining those tenths just every little bit. Can he improve on that last hairpin? Yeah, that last hairpin was very good, but he manages to hold on to most of the time there. Very good exit still. Let's see if he can do the chicane any better than what he did on that first lap. It was pretty good, but maybe he got bogged down a little bit.
To me that looked nice, even though he's fractionally lost time. It didn't take as much curb and it looked like it was just a little bit smoother and yeah, not stopwatch doesn't lie, I guess.
Still keeping this lap very clean. I think we'll see a reasonably good lap. He's still not losing.
That was painful.
Lost a lot of time there on that exit. It cost so much for that. Just a little bit wrong. It didn't even look that bad, but yeah, it's just and that's what's showing is a disappointment there. Is Sneckus not entirely happy with that lap, but it's still a nice score, 140 there.
Yeah, that would have been the provisional fastest lap, but we move on to Rafa Ardianza from MERGP.
Yeah, 140.095, the fastest lap anybody in the grid set. So I'm expecting a real stonker of a lap here from Daffer. I've been commentating on their splits in the sprint races, and Daffer's just got a lot of one lap pace, so I'm keen to see what they can do on this lap here.
This is the first of our BMWs.
BMW is also pretty handy across the curbs, so now Beamer goes. That looks a little bit deep there.
It's sloppy, yeah. Not quite what Daff would be after, unfortunately, but still got one more lap after this, so perhaps just getting set, getting ready, just putting in a nice banker. I'm sure they'll improve on that on the next lap.
The BMW appears to be a little pointier on the turn in than we saw with the Aston Martin on their first lap, so it could be an advantage.
That was heading out of bounds for a little while there. And there was a small lift.
Certainly challenging the limits on this, and I know there would not have been much more than 3 or 4 mil in a couple of those curbs for sure. Really attacked the chicane. It actually looked like it handled that better than the Aston did.
Yeah, seems a little bit more stable. It didn't quite take as much of the curb there as Sneckus did, but maybe it's just because the BMW is just that much more stable. It just looks like it didn't upset it at all. Alright, well, this will be the real lap coming through. I think this will still be a strong one, but I think the second lap's where Daff's going to be putting all their energy.
And that's not that 141.1 anchor lap. That seems to be the common trend on outlaps if they're valid.
Much better through the opening chicane complex there. We're 82 and a bit tense up going into this next one. Continues to gain time very consistently there. Touch wide on that hairpin, yeah, he lost it on the exit. Gaining time into that downhill, that's a good trend. Continuing to gain that time, up 5 tenths already. Let's see how much better the chicane can be. quite get the drive out of it, but still holds on to quite a decent chunk of time.
I think there's still a little bit of time to be made down through Riesa. Yes, a good grab of 1/10 through there, and should be comfortable now to put up into first position. But probably would have been preferring a better time than that.
Yeah, just a 1:46 there, so it puts it all the way up to pole, but that's definitely a lap that's it's in contention. Alright, we go to Andrew Lawrence in the next AVR car. Top time for 1:40.240, the 919 Aston Martin. So let's see how the Aston compares here to the BMW. Another top pick for pole position here, Lawrence. Very strong in the last endurance event at Bathurst. We'll be looking for a little bit of a better result this time around.
Got a slight issue with the AVR cars here. We've had 717 go out first, which was fine. But now we've got 919. Boys had one job, qualify in order. The A1A goes out next and the 919 finishes it off.
Yeah, they're all washed. As I say that, Lawrence is doing a very good job coming through the opening chicane there. Nice, carrying a lot of speed into there. Is it too much? No, I think he kept it nicely within track limits there. Very strong looking bank lap so far.
Gonna be faster than our traditional 141.1 banker.
Correction there, maybe taking a bit too much speed into Arca Minerale, but holds back onto it. I don't think there's an invalidation there. Still green. Not anymore.
Oh no, there it is.
That's the commentator's curse, isn't it? Sorry about that.
Well, we know who to file that one away under. Mike knows Andrew one beverage.
There's too much of the sausage curve there, causing the front of the car to lift and having no steer out of the chicane. But as lap number 2, tyres are warm now, we know this can be the number 1 lap.
Great words of Murray Walker. You have no downforce when the wheels aren't on the road.
So we're not going to be able to rely on the deltas. We have to use our eyes again. And looking very strong through that opening section. Not quite as clean, but still carried a lot of speed in there, so this time should still be pretty good. Very nice solution. Happy there.
To focus coming through entirely, take too much loose and you will then validate your lap on the outside. Keep it in tight, just manages to save that one.
Interesting, seems to be having trouble there at Arca Minerale compared to some of the other Astons we've seen so far, but holds on to it. Just the right amount of the sausage that time.
And thank you, race control. This is the number 2 car from our previous Bathurst Enduro.
Much better exit onto the straight there. I think this one's going up to the top. Just gets there by a couple of hundreds. 140.567. What a great lap.
Shout out to our man Eric Scarney in chat who said a 140.550. Absolutely on the money.
Yeah, couldn't be closer if we tried.
Now go on board with Matthew Lamb. No idea. So got 3 runners. Matthew Lamb 2 after he completes his laps to go in the shootout.
It's so strange to see Matty Lamb, P3 at the last race, driving an Aston. It just seems so out of place for Matty Lamb. I'm so used to seeing him driving around on that Porsche. He took a Mercedes last time around for Bathurst, so he's up to the Aston, so definitely optimising the car choice per round with this one, not showing any particular loyalty, or maybe just not being able to convince his fellow drivers to drive the Porsche.
That would be probably more like the story.
Not the strongest track for the Porsche, unfortunately. Imola, it gets eaten up a little bit too much there on the straights. This lap's looking really nice and tidy here from Matty.
Well, that could be something with the new BOP coming in the update next month. It could be interesting to see what actually to do with the Porsche.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be really interesting to see what gets shaken up and how much of our pre-existing knowledge is absolutely thrown on its head when we get a little bit of a physics update with some new cars a bit later next month.
Matty's got this car dialed in. It's looking like a fantastic lap so far. Let's see if we can get a 140 on our outlap.
Yeah, looks a little bit more in control than Lawrence, and just seems to be a little bit more at ease with the car. Let's watch this exit, see how it is. Very nice and tidy exit there. A reasonable amount of speed, so a good start to this flying lap. Straight to the top with the banker.
Wow.
140.3. That looked so tidy that it was so
Hey,
clean.
there you go. Take that.
And he's got more time in it, Matty. You can definitely see he's got more time in it.
Could this be 39? Chat,
Really
let us
strong
know.
start. No. Oh, he's kept it in track limits, but he's lost a lot of time there, unfortunately. A little bit too much sand there. Oh, and then he throws that one away, unfortunately. Just going a little bit wide there, maybe knowing that the banker was probably going to be the main lap anyway, so an unfortunate end, but he's P1, Matty, at a 140.3, and he's gone fastest so far.
It's a great time. Getting down to the pointy end now, that's going to be hard to beat.
We still have Zachary Smith and Philip Bequita to come out on track. So Zachary next in the Aston Martin. Would expect that Zachary's also going to be ultra competitive.
Yeah, Zach got pole last time out, so good shout for it this time. See the graphic there, last of the up-country racing cars, 140.2 in qualifying.
Perhaps Statsman Mullet can help me in on this one, but I believe Zach Smith is one of, if not the only driver in OR history to win a Pro Finals in ACC and win a Tier 1 F1 championship.
Here we go, it's confirmation there.
Confirmation. So he's in a very exclusive club of one right there.
Interesting, Zach, they're taking a bit of a wider entry line for his flying lap there. I wonder if there's something a little extra that he can gain by doing that.
1 or 2 kph.
Makes the difference.
That could be the F1 experience coming out.
So far so good, carrying lots of speed, keeping it pretty tidy, using all the track. Nice and clean, effortless out of that headwind.
Oh, that's nice. Just the right amount of curve there. Marco Minerale. Just help pull the car around.
Yeah, this is looking like potentially our fastest banker of the evening so far. Very nice, mate.
Wow.
Just missing that time. And so much potential for a little bit of a gain here too. Lots of speed. Is it too much? Is it going to compromise? Yeah, it is. It's compromised his exit just a little bit, carrying too much in there. You see, it's hard to see. It's going to improve on that hairpin from the first lap. Still holds the time though. Still very, very strong.
It's under a 10 down, but it's not hard when you only need to find 12 thousandths of a second.
But that was a very strong sector 3 on his first lap. It is going to be tough to try and find time on top of that.
Really just throwing it. He's sent it into the chicane.
He's tried everything there and just unfortunately thrown it away. But still a very solid time. Good enough for P2 and probably at the worst P3 depending on how Akita goes.
Yeah, well it means Matty Lamb guaranteed a front row start for tomorrow's 10-hour race.
Be very happy with that.
The outlap up to the flash screen for Bakita or BS Plus Competition XHL 140.125 the qualification. Last driver to complete in the top 10 shootout.
Yeah, second fastest overall after Daffa.
Last chance for a 39.
Our winning car from last round. Had a bit of a dramatic race last round, so should probably be hoping for a little bit of a calmer one this time around, but you never know. Strong pace there in that first chicane. And tidy there. I think we're looking at a very strong banker lap here from Bakita.
Just using the right amount of track there. This is going to be another contender for a fast first flying lap.
Great curb usage there. Let's see how she exits the straight. Keeping it very clean, nice.
It's inside the fastest line. Last route to the line, 140.3, 17 thousandths off. What are we seeing? The top three separated by 17 thousandths of a second.
Well, the quite literally all comes down to this lap for Bakita, doesn't it? So she's coming around. Very good first sector there. She's improved a little bit, but the first lap was so good. So, yeah, get the popcorn out. Nice, holding that speed, gaining a little bit more time.
A little bit wide on the exit, but I think that was alright. She's found a little bit into the hairpin.
She'll be looking at that P3 and wanting to improve on it. She doesn't have to do much. She missed out on pole at Bathurst. She's going to want to grab it here.
She's certainly making it hard leaving it down to the last two corners to try and find this time.
The content as we cross the line.
Sitting with bated breath here. She's on it at the moment. Hasn't lost time there. In fact, is just slightly gaining a little bit of time as we see.
Is it enough? Across the line?
It is just enough. 1:42.32. Very close to her qualifying time. Just beating out Matt Lamb and Zach Smith there in a very tight top three. Excellent work.
The last quarter. Again.
If that's what we get to look forward to tomorrow, it is going to be one exciting race.
Yeah, everybody on that podium is very close together in terms of their pace. Shout out to all the other drivers as well, keeping it basically within a second there. Definitely no slouches here.
Green light.
As we look at our order there, we've got Bakita at the top, as we know. It's interesting to see the fastest sectors there. There's a big split there, with Tim Brook doing the fastest first sector by just enough. Everybody really close together on their times there. So we have Bakita in P1, Matt Lamb in P2, Zachary Smith in P3, Lawrenson P4, Daffa in P5, Tim Brook P6, Jean-Pierre Senekis in P7, Larson in P8, Alexis Bowen in P9, and Pat Oliver, unfortunately not setting a time, but still managing to hold on to P10 there. So, wow, that was a really intense one, especially towards the end there.
Look at how this is played out though. Bakita has, of the top three, the slowest final sector time. Yet it was the last corner where she found maybe 3/100ths of a second that were enough to snatch pole position. Just always find it a little, funny how those statistical anomalies play out.
Yeah, it's always interesting. I mean, you got to chalk some of that up to the car, some of that up to the setup, maybe optimizing where her best sector was. Maybe she knew she was the strongest in sector 2 there, so set the car up, did the line so that she knew that's where she grabbed the time. I mean, who knows what goes into the drivers' minds when they set up for these kinds of events, but it's a great show regardless.
Well, you mentioned you don't know what goes into the drivers' minds during these events. Tomorrow, I believe, the first time we are going to bring you live commentary during the race from different drivers. So I think that'll make things interesting.
And the reason that Imola is so exciting is the challenge of this track, that you can set up for Sector 2, but that will affect your times in Sector 1 and Sector 3. Or you set up for Sector 1, but you'll affect your times for the rest of the sectors. It is the final challenge of this track to put all sectors together in the setup of the car and to maintain it for 10 hours, which is the challenge these guys are going to have tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. Multiple drivers, multiple different occasions for incidents. Anything can happen in these big, long endurance events. That's why we love them so much. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. for this event. So obviously we've got the race tomorrow, which is the main event for this. So we get to see all these drivers plus more hitting the track and giving us some good content for a whole 10 hours tomorrow. So hope you set your calendars.
Yep, so we just had a couple of questions in chat. What time does the race start tomorrow? It starts at 12 noon, Australian Eastern Daylight Time.
Yeah, that's right, running all the way down to 10 p.m. in the evening Australian Daylight Time. And it's going to be a good one. I'm excited. Is everybody, what are we doing here in commentary? Is anyone driving the race?
Yeah, I'm driving tomorrow. Unfortunately, got a few school sport commitments, so my time will be a bit limited, but I'll be out there when I can be. Hopefully it rains.
We know you love the rain. What about you, Tim?
Unfortunately, I'm still having issues with my knee, but my team has qualified for the Enduro, so they'll be starting from 38th, also driving the Aston Martin, so very excited for the 3 drivers there. Looking forward to seeing how they perform.
Yeah, I think everybody's looking forward to tomorrow, whether you're driving or you're just coming into the box and spectating. We've got a few people backing up your request there, Bender, for some rain, so get those rain dances going if that's the kind of content you're into.
Oh,
All right.
yes, we love it.
Absolutely. All right, as we wrap things up this evening, I believe that covers everything on the agenda. So join us tomorrow. Thank you very much to Permobil and all our other sponsors who support us and make these events possible. Thank you to Mullock for running the broadcast tonight and who will be running the broadcast as well tomorrow. I look forward to being out there on track and having what should be a great race.
Yep, thanks everyone, and those in chat, thank you. We'll see you tomorrow.
Thanks, everyone.